Instead of getting really good at memorizing Zulrah rotations, I bought gear that makes my mistakes way less punishing and lets me chin off the gear switches entirely. This is a melee only Zulrah setup. The weapons we're using absolutely tear through Zulrah's 0 melee defense, and with a spec weapon that can hit over 100, kills end fast. It is not the cheapest way to kill Zulrah, it's just the easiest and the most forgiving. So, the reason this setup works isn't magic. Just like the rest of old school RuneScape, it all comes down to the numbers. Smarter players than me have already figured this stuff out, but I'm here to help you understand it. First off, Zulrah has 0 melee defense in every single phase. It doesn't matter if she's green, blue, or red, there is no melee defense stat to work through. The only restriction is your range, which is why Halberds are the only viable melee option. The Noxious Halberd is the backbone of this setup. It's a fast weapon that hits like a truck and lets you stick to one combat style instead of juggling a full gear switch every single phase. If you haven't mastered switching yet, or you just can't be bothered, you'll get more hits on the boss by sticking to the Halberd. Smashing through Zulrah's defense is the first piece of cheesy tech that makes this fight way more chill, but we've got 2 more tricks that trivialize the other mechanics. The Serpentine Helm makes you immune to venom effects, which removes one of the fight's biggest annoyances. And either the Ring of Suffering imbued or the Echo Boots act like an Uno reverse card on the annoying snakelings. They both have a recoil effect which easily kills these little bastards. Here's the icing on the cake: with tanky melee gear, mistakes are less likely to get you killed. More defense means more blue zeros when you mess something up. You still have to respect the rotations. This doesn't completely delete mechanics, but it smooths out bad RNG and human error. And finally, your special attacks. At Zulrah, your max hit is capped at 50, but multi-hit weapons can bypass this restriction. A Crystal Halberd spec lets you dump huge chunks of XP if you time it right. So yeah, this is not the cheapest way to kill Zulrah. If you're looking for that, I've got a budget-friendly Zulrah guide already. But if your goal is consistency, low effort, and fewer ruined runs, melee only is stupidly effective. With that out of the way, let's go through the recommended minimum gear setup. Here's what I use to keep that consistency and low effort. I've split it into core gear and situational options. We've already locked in the weapons, Noxious and Crystal Halberds. We've covered the Serpentine Helm already. If you don't have one, Anita's no helmet or face guard is fine, you'll just need to bring an anti-venom. An Amulet of Fury is absolutely fine. If you want to up that DPS, a Torture or Rancor are the obvious choices, but a Blood Fury goes hard for survivability and longer trips. That's what I'll be wearing in these demo kills. Bring a Fire Cape if you're seriously trying to kill Zulrah and you haven't got one of these yet. You've got some confidence issues that I probably can't help with. A Bando's chest and legs are super tanky and have a high strength bonus. Anything less than this and you'll probably be taking more damage than you'd like. Barrow's gloves are more than good enough for any content in the game, so they're fine here too. A God Blessing is nice for that extra prayer bonus. Here's where you have to make a choice. For the recoil effect, you can use either an imbued Ring of Suffering or Echo Boots. If you want to use Echo Boots, you can wear a Light Bearer. Special attacks go hard here, and a Light Bearer helps to make the most of them. Here's the one issue with wearing Echo Boots. For the recoil effect to work, you need to be within melee range of the snakelings. A Suffering is definitely the easier option, but I love those specs. If you do go with the Suffering, you can wear Dragon Boots or better in your boot slot. One final totally optional switch, the Eclipse Atlatl and some darts. This is a unique ranged weapon that rolls off your strength bonuses. If you want to squeeze in a bit of extra damage if you get blocked off by venom, this can be handy. It's not essential, but it's some fun tech. Since we've gone for a simple no switch setup, your inventory is gonna be pretty straightforward. Basically, bring hard food and prayer potions. The exact ratio depends on how good you are at the fight. You can bring some brews and super restores too if you really need the extra HP. A super combat potion is huge for the extra DPS. As always, an emergency telly always makes sense in case you shit the bed. Thralls are nice for a little DPS boost if you have the requirements and are comfortable using them, but again, they aren't essential. I've got my setup on screen now, so just copy that if you're unsure. Now, let's talk about Zulrah's mechanics to make sure you're going into this with all the info that you need to survive. Zulrah works in phases. She'll dive underwater, pop back up somewhere else, and change colour. The colour tells you what she's going to attack with and what you need to pray against, not what you need to switch to, because we're not switching. There are just 3 things that you're managing the whole fight. Your protection prayer, not standing in the shit on the floor, and if you need to move to avoid a melee hit. Let's go over what you need to be aware of for each form. When Zulrah is green, she attacks with ranged, use protection from missiles. When Zulrah is blue, she attacks with magic, use protection from magic. Zulrah's max hit is 41, so it's important to get this prayer right. The tankiness from your gear helps during the ranged phase, but getting comboed out is still pretty easy if you aren't paying attention. When Zulrah is red, she shouldn't hit you with any ranged attacks, but you'll need to avoid the melee knockback. Zulrah will look at you, once she does, move to a different tile, then she'll look at you again. Move again. Keep doing this until Zulrah exits the melee phase. The Venom Fog is the first other mechanic you'll see. Zulrah fills the arena with it at the start. Running to the corner on the top right side of the U-shaped arena is the best way to start the fight. We'll go through the full opening process during the demo kill shortly. Once again, I'll repeat myself, remember old school RuneScape's golden rule, don't stand in the shit on the floor. It's not going to give you big damage over time if you're wearing the serpentine helm like I've told you to, but every tick you spend standing on the venom will deal some trickle damage, so if you stand on it, get off it as soon as possible. If you find yourself unable to reach Zulrah due to the venom, just run through it. You'll be absolutely fine, a few ticks in the venom is nothing, just heal up at the same time. If you're feeling nervous, waiting is okay too, or use that Eclipse allow if you bought one. You'll also need to deal with the snakelings. These guys can damage you from a distance. If you've bought an imbued suffering or ring of recoil, you can literally ignore these. They will remove themselves from the gene pool immediately. The echo boot enjoyers amongst you will need to stand next to them for a couple of seconds. As we covered earlier, the echo boot's recoil effect only works in melee range. The Jad phase is the only time you really need to focus. She'll alternate between magic and ranged. You need the correct prayer up before the projectile is launched. Switching prayer whilst it's in the air is too late. A fireball is the mage attack and the missile is ranged. The best way to deal with this is to pray the opposite of what's currently in the air. Don't spam, just take it one click at a time. Zulrah is a deceptively tough fight, and getting rid of those switches makes everything way easier. You've got so much less to focus on, and the boss dies faster. You still need to respect the mechanics, but instead of one mistake ending the run, you can just eat up and keep going. I am trash at Zulrah. This is honestly one of my least favourite bosses in a mage range setup. I'll show you my first kill in months to show you how easy it can be. But first, if you found this useful so far, liking the video really helps boost me in the algorithm and gets my content in front of the people who need it most. And subscribe if you want to see more from me. I'm constantly releasing new guides and updating the old ones as the meta changes. An awesome way to support me is to pick up some sweet merch from Creator Crafted using my 10% discount code. The code at the checkout is 10boot. I've got my Eye on the Castle Wars desk mat and a few of the awesome LED signs for when I pimp out my office for my return to streaming. I appreciate it. This is actually my second kill of the trip. We need to run over to the northeast corner, make sure we've got our prayer on, potted up, and get straight on the boss. Get in 3 hits with the Noxious Tally, and then switch to the Crystal Halberd for a special attack. Ideally something bigger than a 15. Red means melee phase, so he'll look at us and we need to move out of the way. Once he whacks his tail, you can get back on the boss, preferably not stepping on the venom, and then eventually he'll dive again. He's gone blue, so we need to get on our mage prey. He's actually doing the Jad phase now, so you need to have the opposite prayer on to whatever's flying at you. The first hit can catch you out. Once he dives again, he won't be Jad phase anymore. He's green, so we need the ranged prey on. Avoid the venom if you can. Like I said, it's not a big deal. It's just some trickle damage whilst you're running through it. The snakelings can be a bitch. I've got the echo boots on, so I need to be stood next to them for the damage to kill them. There we go. All 3 of them are dead. He's hit me pretty damn hard there because I had the wrong prayer. But, you know, we just eat through it. Get the right prayer up. Run out of the shit that's on the floor. Eat a shark. You won't die. As long as you've got the right prayer on, nothing is going to kill you here. Oh, there's me in the venom. I've run out of the way. Prayers up. I'm absolutely fine. Nothing to worry about. If anything's going to kill you in this fight, it's probably the snakelings or getting stunned, but there we go, getting stunned by the melee phase, just like I said. So this is the only thing that's really catching me out at the moment. But again, you can just eat through it. I don't know why I had Prey Melee on. I don't think it helps. I don't actually know. Let me know in the comments if you do. But yeah, he's back on ranged Prey. Go for a Chally Spec, big 44. We take those. Mage again, not a Jad phase. Not a Jad phase, so we're perfectly safe here. DPS him down. Use some Chally Specs. Use some Chally Specs when you think he's about to dive. The Chally is like a really slow weapon. I think it's 7 ticks. So ideally you want to loot that. You want to use it when he's about to dive, so you're not wasting too much time. But there we go. We had no problem there. Pick up your loot. Get out of there. So, is this actually worth doing if you want to make money, or is it just a mega chill method for pet hunters, combat achievement doers, or weirdos that actually want to kill Zulrah for fun? The average Zulrah drop is 150k. Let's say you use 10 sharks and 2 doses of prayer per kill. That's 10k spent per kill. You should definitely be able to push 20 kills per hour here. After your costs, it adds up to over 3 mil per hour. You aren't going to be saving for a Scythe of Vitor on this budget, but for the mid-game player, it's pretty consistent GP to chip away at some of those mid-game upgrades. This setup is forgiving, fast and consistent, but the price definitely reflects how good it is. If you want to stop sweating with the 8-way switches at Zulrah, I strongly recommend giving it a go. If Zulrah's still not your cup of tea, I've got loads of other guides that make endgame bossing as approachable as possible, so check out the rest of the channel if you want to take a look. Liking and subscribing is the best way to support the channel, but if you want to give me an extra special thank you, my channel members and Twitch subscribers are massively appreciated. You're all legends. That's it from me. Thanks for sticking around. I'll see you next time.